In the globally competitive world that we live in today, it is becoming increasingly important for people to get a college degree at a minimum and in a lot of cases an advanced degree. We are increasingly competing with people from all over the world for jobs, and as such we have to constantly strive to improve ourselves to be more and more competitive. In a previous video we talked about the idea of student loan debt to be considered good debt because it helps fund our ability to improve ourselves so we can earn more money in the future. Having money to pay for college is becoming increasingly important because the cost of advanced education has been increasing rapidly for years. The average cost of college tuition and fees at a public four-year institution has increased by an annual average of 9% per year for more than 20 years according to the data from the Education Data Initiative. This annual cost increase has significantly outpaced the rate of inflation up until 2022. As such, our salaries and income have not risen fast enough to pay for college. We are falling farther than farther behind, so we need to be aggressive at finding ways to save so our children can afford college and graduation without the load of massive and crushing debt. In today's video, we will do a deep dive on the various types of savings options for college. We'll give you a playbook for how to navigate this. Before we begin, please like this video and hit the subscribe button with notifications turned on so you will be first to know about new content. Our mission at the Personal Finance and AMP Investing channel is to empower people to achieve financial independence. Subscribing will help us achieve that goal. Now, let's get back to today's video. In order to save for college for your children, there are a few options that are most popular. They include 529 plans, Coverdell education savings accounts, custodial accounts, and Roth IRAs. We'll go through each of these in detail. Before we do that, let's briefly define what a college savings plan is. This is a way to set aside money for future education for a child with tax benefits. You invest after-tax money into an account that tax benefits. After tax means that you pay taxes on the income in the year you earn it and then invest the money. This is identical to what we discussed in a previous video on Roth IRAs, which are done after taxes. With a college savings plan, the account grows. Let's go through the four main types of college fund accounts now. First is the most common and is known as a 529 college savings plan or education savings account. This is often referred to as a 529 plan. 529 plans are state-sponsored investment vehicles that come in two types. Prepaid tuition plans that are usually associated with specific state schools. Education savings plans sponsored by each state, which can be used at different schools inside or even outside the state. The investment options are spelled out by each state and the options and fees vary from state to state. All 50 states and the District of Columbia offer 529 plans. Americans can contribute to a 529 plan and contributions are not limited. However, if contributions are greater than $16,000 in a given year, they can be subject to a gift tax. In general, 529 plans do not come with a lot of risk since the plan administrators do not want to subject investors to losses. Thus the returns tend to be fairly modest relative to more aggressive investment options. Let's discuss some of the pros and cons of 529 plans. Pros: no income restrictions or contribution limits, so feel free to invest as much as you want. Note there might be aggregate contribution limits based on the particular plan, so please research this to determine the specifics of your plan. Returns on the money are exempt from federal taxes. Plans can cover expenses for K-12 education as well as college. Money can be used to pay for tuition, fees, room and AMP, board, books and AMP, supplies, computer equipment, or to pay down student loans. However, withdrawals are limited to $10,000 in tuition expenses for K-12 schools. Withdrawals are tax-free if used to qualified education expenses. Plans can be transferred to another child. This is referred to as changing the account beneficiary. 529 plans can be purchased through financial advisors or directly through your state. You are eligible to participate in any state's 529 plan regardless of where you live. For example, if you live in Maryland, you can utilize the 529 plan for the state of Oklahoma if you feel like they have better options for you. Accounts can accept contributions from third parties. Cons: The available investment options are limited to what the state offers. Details of plans vary from state to state and therefore can be confusing. Funds for non-qualified education expenses are taxed and come with a 10% penalty. In short, use it for actual educational expenses. The next type of college savings is called a Coverdell Education Savings Account or ESA. These were originally called education IRAs and sometimes are still referred to as such. They were named for the Georgia senator who sponsored the bill in Congress. To be eligible to open a Coverdell ESA, a parent or donor cannot have a modified, adjusted gross income or MAGI greater than $110,000 and contributions are limited to $2,000 per student per year. Contributions are made after tax. Pros and cons of Coverdell ESA. Pros. Withdrawals are tax-free if used for qualified education expenses. Plans can be transferred to another child in the family, aka changing beneficiary. Plans can accept third-party contributions, but total contributions from all donors is limited to $2,000 per child per year. Accounts can be used for more varied expenses including some K-12 expenses. Plans can invest in any public securities so they have more flexibility than 529 plans. Cons. Contribution limits are much lower than for other accounts like 529 plans and custodial accounts. Contributions are not allowed from individuals with incomes over the limit. The third type of college savings is a custodial school savings account or simply custodial account. Custodial accounts were created as a result of the Uniform Gift to Minors Act and Uniform Transfer to Minors Act, also known as UGMA and UTMA. Adults may set up and manage the custodial accounts on behalf of the children. This money is managed by the custodian, typically the parent or guardian, though it belongs to the child named on the account. This is basically a savings account that a parent can set up for a minor. Funds may be withdrawn from the account for any purpose before they reach the age of majority, typically 18, but depends on the state, so long as it is used to benefit the child. Once the child reaches the age of majority, the money goes directly to the child and they may use it for any purpose they see fit. Custodial accounts are not tax-free but do receive some preferred tax treatments. This allows the gains to be reported on either the adult's or minor's tax returns, whichever is more advantageous. Any adult may open a custodial account for any minor. There are no income limits or restrictions on custodial accounts. However, contributions are considered to be gifts and thus may be subject to a gift tax if they are above $16,000 in any given year. Here are the pros and cons of custodial accounts. Pros. Money can be used for any purpose to benefit the child even beyond education. This gives more flexibility than either 529 or ESAs. Withdrawals thus don't have any penalties if used for the benefit of the child. There are no contribution limits. No income limits for donors. Potential tax benefits on growth of the account by leveraging the lower tax rate of the minor. Cons. The beneficiary on the account cannot be changed. Control of the funds goes to the child at the age of majority, so the adult loses control of the money at that point. The money may at this time be used for anything, whether it be for educational purposes or other. Money in this account counts as assets for the child, so this can affect eligibility for financial aid. Gains are not totally tax-free. The fourth type of college savings account is the Roth IRA. In the previous video we discussed that the Roth IRA was a retirement account, and that's true. That is its primary purpose. However, the laws governing Roth IRAs provide flexibility for withdrawals to be made before 59.5 years old. The funds are to be used for education expenses. See the previous video on a deep dive on retirement plans to get more information on Roth IRAs. Contributions to 529 plans in Roth IRA have identical tax treatment in that they are both made with after-tax dollars, meaning you have paid income taxes already on the money that you invested. They grow tax-free and are withdrawn without any tax implications in the future. There are pros and cons of using a Roth IRA as a college savings account. Pros. Withdrawals can be used for educational purposes prior to age 59.5 and for any purpose beyond that age. Qualified withdrawals are tax-free. Investment options are open to any public securities, funds, etc., so there is more flexibility on investment options than 529 plans. You can use the money for something else if your child doesn't have education expenses or for another child altogether. Cons. There are contribution limits for Roth IRAs, whereas there are fewer restrictions on 529 plans. Non-qualified withdrawals are subject to tax on gains plus 10% penalty. As you can see, there are a lot of options with some benefits and drawbacks of each. So what is the best option for you? This obviously depends on your specific situation. However, we can offer some broad suggestions about how to approach this. First, we recommend that people prioritize retirement savings over kids' college. Kids have other options for college, whether it be less expensive schools or taking on student loans. But if you don't have enough money for retirement, that's a bigger problem than your child not having enough saved for college. So in general, saving for retirement is a higher priority. Per our suggestion in the previous video on saving for retirement, we suggest that you first maximize your employer contributions and then consider a Roth or traditional IRA based on your future expectations of your tax situation. If you believe that in the future you will be in a lower tax bracket in retirement than during your working years, you should use a traditional IRA rather than a Roth IRA. In that case, the decision on Roth versus traditional IRA should be made based on your tax situation, not based on college savings. If you go with a Roth IRA, we suggest you maximize your contribution limits if possible. This gives you the flexibility to use the Roth IRA for retirement or kids' college if you want to. If you choose to use the Roth for kids' college, just know that those funds won't be available for retirement. Be cautious in your use of a Roth for educational purposes, as we strongly believe that retirement is more important to save for than education. Second, if you do decide to utilize a dedicated educational savings for your children, we suggest defaulting to the 529 plan. These offer the most broad benefits, including no income or contribution limits. Other plans have limits and are thus more complicated to manage. Tax-favorable growth and tax-free withdrawals for qualified expenses. Ability to change beneficiaries. Ability to accept contributions from third parties such as friends or family members. While there are some limitations, these overall benefits outweigh the benefits of the other options, and we suggest utilizing 529 plans for kids' college. Let us know what you think in the comments section below. Also, let us know if you have specific topics or questions you want us to address in future videos. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel so we can help achieve our mission of empowering people to achieve financial independence. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.